You might call it an investment, but your second home might just be a money pit. Let's dive into the numbers and uncover the truth about investing in a second home. My wife and I constantly have this conversation. She always says to me, Paul, can we just have one vacation home that's just for us that we don't rent out? And the reason being is, in my lifetime, I have bought several homes. I say, I'm just going to rent this out a little bit. And what's ended up happening is it rents very well and it makes me money and I end up buying another property to use. It's a very fortunate situation I'm in. But my wife, like many of our friends, love having one home they can go to. But the difference is our friends will sit there and say, yeah, but I paid X amount of dollars for this house 20 years ago. Now it's worth double. But what they're not factoring it is when you're paying the mortgage, when you're paying the taxes, when you're paying the maintenance and utilities, and these are the costs that you're going to have, even if you don't rent it out. That dream of a second home can quickly turn into a financial drain. I remember years ago, a friend of my brother's, his parents had bought a home in Naples, Florida 25 years ago. And they said, you know what? When we first did it, we were like, can we really afford this? And they said, and I quote, it ended up being one of the best investments we ever made. To which I immediately said, oh, do you rent it out? No, we don't rent it out. But it's gone up in value several times over. I remember thinking to myself, I don't think they're really doing the math. And this is a very common theme with people doing any sort of investment. They might sit there and say, hey, I put X amount of dollars in here, and 30 years later it was 4 times larger. That's not a good return. That's 4 or 5% a year. Today, we're going to do the math in that second home. And at the end of the day, guys, the numbers don't lie. Now, I created our real estate calculator specifically to calculate returns on investment property. But it can't be used for this because what I'm trying to show you here is for half of it, it can't be used. The half I'm going to show you is how renting out your home can make it an investment. But the other half is if you want to own a second home and just let it appreciate, you pay down debt and you enjoy it with your family, that's not able to be done here because this software is specifically made to value properties as it goes up in value because the income goes up. Now, I bought a home in Texas on a lake, and I'm going to rent it out. I'm factoring in about 4% appreciation. Some would argue it should be higher, some would argue it should be lower. I just looked at history and figured, you know what? Income, as in per capita GDP, goes up about 5% per year. So I figure 4% is a pretty reasonable number. Inflation is about 3.5%, incomes go up 5%. Especially on a lake, will probably be a higher appreciation rate. But as I put the numbers in here, you've got to remember I have expenses. What are these expenses? Guys, all over. There's insurance, there's property taxes, there's maintenance, there's property manager, maintenance and repair, all these other things that happen, advertising. These are the expenses that I have for a property I plan on renting out. And my expenses are about $150,000 per year. When I did the math, the reason I wanted to buy this house is my return was about 17% a year if I hit my numbers. Pretty solid. I can buy a home, rent it out, use it when it's not rented, and still make, even if I make 10% returns, my family and I are getting the benefit of using a wonderful lake house, using the boats, jet skis, making it a family retreat that we can all enjoy all months of the year. That's a true investment because there is the non-tangible part of our family's enjoyment. But again, my wife says to me, can't we just have a house for us? Can't we have a house where I put clothes there, nobody uses our sheets, all that stuff? And I say, I wish I could. But when I sat there and did the numbers, I sat there and said, okay, instead of $150,000 per year, what would my cost be for just owning the house and never renting it out? Well, guess what? It's about $90,000 a year, significantly lower, but I have the mortgage on top of both of these expenses. So it's $150,000 a year plus mortgage, or $90,000 a year plus mortgage. And the mortgage is the same whether I rent it out or not. So yes, my expenses are very, very low compared to renting it out because I don't have to pay a manager as much. The utilities aren't going to be as much. The maintenance and repair is not going to be as much. It's going to be a much lower cost to operate. But guess what? The biggest expense I have, mortgage, tax, and insurance, are exactly the same. Now, people will always justify a second home as an investment, comparing it to their primary residence. The difference is your main home that you live in, you've got to have a home expense. You're either going to rent a house or you're going to buy a home. It's one or the other. But with a second home, your actual opportunity cost isn't the home and something else. It's the home and putting more money in the stock market. That's the difference. So to me, unless you have absurd money where you don't care, having a home that just sits there not being rented out is costing you money every single year. Let me break down that math for you right now. So guys, this is that property I bought. I paid about $1.925. I put about $400,000 down. I'm putting a pool in, things like that. Let's assume I don't do any of that stuff. My negative cash flow for year one is $400,000. I put that down payment. Every year, look at my negative cash flow. 190, 194, 197, 200. It gets worse and worse every year. Why? Because my cost to own and operate it keeps going up. The mortgage stays the same. Now, I put my appreciation rate at 4%. So as time goes on, my value goes up. Mortgage balance goes down, and look at my equity that I'm building. And this is what most people stop at. Look, I'm building equity, 480, 580, 695, 800, 900. Guys, 30 years down the road, I have a property that's worth $6.2 million. I paid $2 million. And a lot of people would say, look, what a slam dunk. I bought a home, I enjoyed it, it tripled in value. But here's the scary part. Add up all this negative cash flow. Add up all this. Not including the down payment, my operating negative cash flow totals $2.3 million. And even with selling it for $6.24 million bucks, net proceeds, I'm getting an IRR of negative 3.1% per year. Not only that, guys, my question to you is, who here spends $200,000 a year traveling? Now, you might sit there and say, Paul, I'm not buying a $2 million house. Great. Divide this by 5. Everything else is going to be 1/5 the cost. It's still going to be the same negative percent. And even if it's 1/5 the cost, let's say you buy a house for $400,000, 1/5 of $200,000 is still 40 grand a year. What else can you do with 40 grand a year? I'll tell you what you can do. Let me show you what 40 grand a year for 30 years becomes investing 9 or 10% return in the stock market. If I invested all of this money all along the way, making 9.5% return in the stock market, I would have $40.3 million. $40.3 million. Now, let's say it's 2/3 of that, because every year I spent extra money taking vacations. So instead of losing $200,000 the first year, I said, listen, I'm going to take $50,000 of that and take my family on trips that would replicate us using this. I'm still at $30 million in money versus everybody else thinking they hit a slam dunk home run at $6.2 million bucks. Again, if you're not buying a $2 million home, which most people are not, but if your second home is even $500,000, this is still $10 million extra dollars in your pocket. $10 million extra dollars. So the next question is, okay, Paul, maybe you're being conservative on 4% appreciation. Let's go crazy. Let's call it 8% appreciation. And by the way, guys, somebody please find me a place in this country that appreciated 8% per year for 30 years. I don't know if it's happened, but at 8% per year, good news. We got a positive IRR of $4.9 million. $4.9 million, but that takes my $2 million home to $20 million in 30 years. Where are you finding that? And even then, 4.9%. Give me a break. You're still 20 million short. Actually, even more than that, of this $40 million number. Taking that money every single year, making 9 or 10% returns in a low-cost ETF would have been a game changer for most people. $10 million extra. So my friends out there who bought that house in Naples who think they hit a home run, I don't have the heart to tell them, guys, you would have far more money if you probably had just rented a house in Naples for the 4 or 5 weeks a year that you would use it and sat there and just enjoyed that. So guys, other solutions, take the money that you would have spent every single year holding the property and go rent vacation homes. Go imagine what you could rent out there. This will save you significant carry costs, and you don't have the guilt of sitting there going, oh, we're not using the house enough, then managing everybody to get to the house. If you're wealthy enough that cost doesn't matter, or if owning a vacation home brings you so much immense personal joy, go for it. But please don't fool yourself into thinking it's an investment. It's just like I used to talk about when interest rates are at 3% on homes. Don't listen to Dave Ramsey when he says, you have to pay down your debt. Just understand, if you want to pay down your debt because it makes you feel better at night, great. But don't deny the fact that paying down 3% mortgage is a good financial move, just like this. At best, you're going to do is going to break even, because at this appreciation rate, you need 11% per year to equate to 9.5% return over a 30-year period. You need 11% appreciation per year. Your $2 million home becomes $44 million. That doesn't happen, guys. So what I do on this channel, guys, is I'm trying to call out all the BS and all the things we accept as true and saying, here are the actual numbers behind it. A second home can bring immense happiness, but it's rarely a smart investment unless you go rent it out. So before you buy, do the math and consider whether that money could work harder for you elsewhere. If financial freedom is your goal, make sure every dollar you spend gets you closer to it while also balancing enjoying life. But you can enjoy life on vacations without having that huge sunk cost into a vacation rental. So if you're ready to take the leap into real estate investing, our full real estate course is designed to guide you step by step through your very first deal. From analyzing properties to securing financing, the video gives you the strategies you need to succeed. So don't miss this opportunity. Click this card to watch the next video to walk you through the entire real estate buying process. Thank you for your time.